Welcome back. Once again, adventurers, let's play Robotics Notes Elite. In the last episode, we were properly introduced to Mr. Kaito Yashio of the Robotic Research Club, as well as his classmate Akio Shinomiya, who is the club president of the Robotic Research Club. They are also the only two members of the Robot Club, which has ultimately fallen on very hard times since its heyday. But of course, in his usual fashion, Kaito doesn't really care about robots in general, let alone robot anime, much to Akio's annoyance, or should I say insistence. But anyway, Kaito had a meeting with Ahiko concerning the dismal future of the Robot Club before heading to his usual spot outside under a tree and playing his usual game of Kill-Ballad online on his phone droid. A moment that I am currently dreading, because I have no idea whether or not I actually have to do this myself. Those PlayStation buttons on the screen are giving me huge amounts of anxiety right about now. Basically, Kaito is number 5 on the leaderboard, and the opponent that he is going up against is number 4, Fraukoujiro. Kaito, of course, having the appellation of Umisho. Fraukoujiro was also said to be the creator of Kill-Ballad Online, which is based entirely on the Gunvarrel franchise, essentially. I really do not want to have to do this myself, Kaito. I don't want to fight your battles for you. Well, I guess we're doing this. Greetings and salutations, hail and well met. Easier said than done. And Fraukoujiro isn't responding in kind. Voicha. Yet another tip. Yeah, we had chock-a-block full of tips in the last episode. I don't think it was supposed to be doing that. It came up with the tip for phone droid, strangely enough. I don't think that's supposed to happen. Anyway, Voicha is short for voice chat, to communicate by voice in online games. I would actually recommend Discord. Discord is usually fairly reliable when it comes to that sort of thing. Oh my god. Oh my god. Please. Please, for the love of God. Please say that I don't have to do anything. Oh my god. Please. Please no. I don't think it's wise to underestimate the creator of Kill-Ballad. Oh god. Jesus. Okay. I had to do something. My god. Well, at least it was generous. At least it was generous this time. I don't think we're going to get that lucky in the future adventurers, because as you can see there, my reaction times were pretty abysmal, but apparently I won the fight. I don't count that as a victory. I don't. I don't count that as a personal victory on my end. But we won. Apparently, we run through button presses and sheer dumb luck. Which basically means that if my math is correct, and I'm hoping that it is, Umisho is rising to number 4 on the leaderboard, which is one step closer to number 1.
さすが作者だけあって癖をよく理解してるよ。でもまあ、だからこそ攻め方がオーソドックスすぎかな。読みやすかったっていうか。
Part of me is wondering whether or not that was a deliberate ploy on the part of Fraukoujiro, or maybe they, well, maybe they just wanted to let somebody climb to the top, I
同じ
guess.
期待ってのも俺に有利に働いたかもね。
Ah, so it was a mirror match then. In other words, nobody used Big Zam. Huh. Apparently we have a mail.
もう一応さ無視したのにメッセージ送ってくれなんてどういうつもりかな。
Not everyone likes to speak out online. I should open it. My bad for the sudden message. Lol. I send messages because I never use voice chat. I hate to say this, but people suspect you might be using cheat, Umisho-shi. Baka said your reaction time seemed physically impossible. I mean, that's what the person who reported you said. Lol crap. If you have anything to say about the authenticity of this rumor, please let me know. Well, that's not good. People are trying to give us a bad reputation. My reaction time there was not physically impossible, by the way. I mean, sure, it's physically impossible that we won, but my reaction time was pretty average.
なんだこれ。
But it seems that Kill-Ballad isn't immune from internet trolls.
俺がチート使ってるってそんなのあるわけないでしょうが。
Cheat codes? Moi? Perish the thought. Game lingo. To modify game data using altering tools. Recently, games have been developed with intentional cheat codes. Secret commands are one type of cheat code. Cheat modes. Sorry. Modes instead of codes. But anyway, we're not using invincibility frames, we're not using God mode, we're not using kill mode or one-hit kills or anything like that. We're not even using Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter style commands either. That was just pure fluke on my part.
とんだ言いがかりだね、まったく。
That being said, I'm glad and amazed that we survived that round. As a fighting game player, being suspected of cheating is the ultimate blow to my pride. Get the hell out of here. GTFO. I do not cheat. Although, if anything, it could very well be possible that we might have actually gotten lucky with lag there. It is entirely not unrulable, or it shouldn't be ruled out. But then again, it would be surprising if the creator of the game Kill-Ballad would actually have terrible internet connection on their end. And they disconnected. I logged off without replying to the message. Anyway, victory fanfare. Ba 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 ba. Who made up such a stupid lie and reported me for cheating? Well, be grateful we weren't banned from the site. I'm really pissed off now. If Fraukoujiro is the creator, they can just find my account and they can just check my account and settle this that way. They wouldn't find a thing. Wait, is Fraukoujiro their actual name? Yeah, that's pretty bold.
ていうか、チートなら俺より上位の連中の方がよっぽど怪しいけどね。
I'm not being jealous, I swear. After fighting them countless times, I got a feel for how they move and play. That's why I'm so confident in my assertion. I can tell whether someone's cheating or not after one match. God, this was turning into a bit of a rant. I need to stop while I'm ahead. We don't know anything about the other three people at the head of the leaderboard, but there are people in fighting game clubs and tournament circuits that, while not unbeatable, are exceptionally skilled. And also, that mouse cursor there is actually moving on its own accord. It isn't Kai or Kaito who is actually doing that, nor is it me. It's just flying around on its circuit, although it is getting a bit annoying to look at. Much better. I looked up from the screen. Sorry, I look up from the screen, stretch, and put away my phone droid. And out of the gate, we've got more tips. Not as many as last episode. That was actually quite ridiculous. Anyway, Twippo, the name of a mini blog app. You can write tweets, which are limited to 140 letters. Other users' tweets will show up on your timeline if you're following them. You can chat on Twippo as well. Deluode Map, a map application for phone droid OS, able to sync with GPS and IRUO. I don't have much to do, so I stare at the scenery, or out at the scenery. Huh. Oh, that is the, yeah, I just pressed the trigger there, and that's actually me using the keyboard to do things. Let's have a look at the map. There's Central High. Achievement unlocked. You are here. A winner is you. And there are some other places. Airport. Ure General Store. And further south is Nakatanecho with the town office and Central Athletic Park, as well as Route 589 and Route 75. And to the west is the Nagahama coast. Oh, we can move. We can do things. Oh my god, this is so much. This is so much. Let's see. Twippo. Oh my god. Apparently, Akio Sinomiya, who for some reason is using both an Apple user handle and her real name. Just kind of weird. Aki Poon or home or whatever. And the most recent message from her is because he was a spoiled brat. For those of you who are familiar with the original Mobile Suit Gundam anime, you will know who says that infamous quote and why. I certainly do. I remember it well. But I won't spoil it here. Get courage by watching the Gunvarrel opening. That's what OP stands for. I wonder if Vice Principal is in today. Not here. I'm going to go to tea time with Yamada from Japanese class. I wanted to play KB, but there's an update. Vice Principal didn't come, didn't see her again. Ahiko's pestering Kaito, you at the club room. Gonna go to club room, storm, stress, energy explosion. We can reply to some, well, we can reply to some of these. So basically the phone droid trigger is very similar to the phone trigger in Steins Gate 0. And I know I said I wasn't going to, well, I won't spoil the identity completely, but we can say some things. Was it the red comet, the blue comet, or the yellow curry? We can make, we can have Kaito say something pretty ridiculous and show how little he actually cares about mecha anime. But the answer to the question of who said these words, we all know it's the red comet. I won't say either his. Well, he has two names. The red comet has two names. One is very well known. The other one, I actually have forgotten. Yeah. But let's reply. Was that the red comet? Achievement unlocked. Debut on the world of Twippo. And apparently, instead of going from top to bottom, it goes from, yeah, the top comment is apparently the most recent comment, which actually is how Twippo is supposed to work. We already met Ahiko at the club room, so we can't don't want to do anything there. You know what? Just for shits and giggles, we're going to answer this one. We're going to reply to that tweet. And that's it for Twippo. We've seen IIUO before. That's this thing. We can zoom out and we can zoom in. Okay, so the annotations are known as geotags. Good to know. Yeah, the soccer club. Hold on. Oh, 2 soccer clubs, volunteer group, and surf club. Soccer club must really be special if they get 2 sets of equipment rooms. As to what the volunteer group volunteers for, honestly don't know. But we can have a look at our surroundings from this tree here. There's the corner of the Central High School building, but we can't really see much of that. That's in there. I'll check the web, why not? Not gonna do much with it, but okay, we can't. We can't check the web. Can't check, not important to check the document viewer. Address book is out. Do we have mail? No, we don't. Can we call anybody? No, that's not important. The only things we can access are Twippo, the map, and IIUO. And that's it. Goodbye. That was actually quite entertaining. But still, back to reality. The leaves rustle above my head. There are no students on the courtyard lawn or in the informatics classroom nearby. Is informatics really a word? You could have just said information. That's... yeah. As for the sports clubs, they've gone to practice at the Nakatane-cho Central Athletic Park, 20 minutes away from here, which we saw on the map. Also, it's probably going to be a short while before we receive a reply from Ahiko regarding those tweets. All I can hear is are the cries of crows and other small birds. Crows of death. No, they're just regular old crows. The gentle sound of plants rustling in the cool breeze. The school is quiet after hours, or it is the afternoon. It's almost as though time itself has stopped. Now that is a phenomenon that Ho in Kiyoma and the Future Gadget Laboratory has not been able to observe. Fortunately, I should say. Oop. Yeah, sorry about that. That was my bad. Luckily, thanks to the handy-dandy trusty backlog, we could just see what he said from there. Or perhaps time has left this place behind. Now that is Steins Gate territory. Maybe it's not just this school. Maybe the entire island has been left behind. Maybe the outside world doesn't exist.
ちょっと少女趣味すぎか。
Who knew that a video game enthusiast could be sentimental?
何のこと？
And Akio is still here. Which makes sense. Akio leaves the club room and walks over to me. I guess she heard me talking to myself.
この場所は時間から取り残されてるんじゃないかってアンニュイな気分に浸ったりしてたんだよ。
Very profound of you there, Kaito.
おお、哲学的。
She really shouldn't admire me. Yeah, I'm actually with you on that one. She really shouldn't.
別の言い方すると、俺はこれからどうしようって思っただけだったりするんだけど。
これからどうするかなんて決まりきってるよ。
Also, yeah, given the fact that Akio is now conversing with us, yeah, it makes sense that she isn't going to reply. Unless she looks at her own phone droid. Akio points her finger up at the sky.
なんとしても部費を手に入れる。そして今年中にガンツクワンを完成させるの。
I'm pretty sure that the finance authorities aren't going to give us a budget to build a mecha robot at a high school. In April, Akio made an important declaration, her words, not mine, as president. Of course, it was only me there. The plan is to complete Gunvarrel Prototype Model 1, Gun Build 1, within the year before we graduate. Yeah, there's no way that the Japanese Self-Defense Force is going to allow a bunch of high schoolers to create a Gunvarrel mecha. And so she requested a tenfold increase to our budget out of nowhere. The VP flipped out and banished us here.
いや、じゃなくて、俺が言ってるのはさ。
To be fair, I doubt that even a prestigious high school such as Central High would have that kind of money lying around. I mean, sure, they have to have money in order to operate in the first place, but nowhere near the amount that they can't afford to, finance us like that.
もう高3でしょ。あと1年もしないうちに卒業だよ。その後どうなるのかなってこと。
So we're 1 year from graduation. There are no colleges here. If you want to go to one, you gotta leave the island. As for work, going off island is the only choice. So basically, if you want to do anything other than stay on this place forever, you have to leave. I've lived here my whole life. I've left for vacations and whatnot, but I've never lived off island. That's actually rather unfortunate. I've no particular aspirations to leave either. It's more a vague sense of insecurity at having to leave it all. Now that is profound. And it seems as though Akio is in the same boat as Kaito when it comes to that subject.
もう6月なのに?
Okay, so it is June. It's not October. I thought I was going a bit crazy there when I saw the date currently up on the right-hand corner, but no, I was correct in my original assessment. It's the 10th of June, not the 6th of October. Good, because I thought I was going crazy.
うちは今あの子に夢中だから。
You're still insistent on building a real-life genuine Gunvarrel.
今っていうか、もうずっとでしょ。
Akio truly loves robots from the bottom of her heart. Well, everyone needs a hobby, I suppose.
でもそれにうつつを抜かしてて、浪人だなんてことになったら目も当てられないよ。何しろ、ロボットを完成させた後も、俺たちの長い人生は続くわけだからね。
Kaito actually does have a point there, Akio. Even if you somehow succeed in completing, let alone constructing a Gunvarrel, you have to think of what comes next. Completing it doesn't mean we all live happily ever after roll credits. We've got regular lives to live.
まあなるようになるって。
That is a very optimistic, if somewhat naive sentiment.
なんでそんなナイル話題持ち出すかな。
なえるのは確かだね。
Says the person that thinks that robot anime is dull and boring.
もっと希望的観測のもとに突き進むべきだと思うよ。
Star of Hope, you say? Well, as fantastical as it sounds, I guess you have to aim at something in life.
なんだったら走りますか？
At least you have ambition, and that actually counts for something in this world, I think.
どこへ？
夕日に向かって。
This isn't a Western movie, Akio. Also, actually running into a setting sun is actually quite dangerous if we could actually do that.
自分が走りたいだけでしょ。しかもまだ夕日なんて出てないし。
He's right. It's still daylight.
気分だよ気分。
You mean the
アキさんっ
cliche?
てたまに根性論唱えるよね。
じゃなくて諦めなければ願いはきっと叶うんだって。
I want to say that I believe that with all of my heart, and yet, for a lot of people around the world, things actually aren't that easy.
人はそれを根性論と言うんだよ、アキちゃん。キャラ性能のせいで始まる前に勝敗が決まっちゃってることもあるって覚えとくといい。
Yeah, but this isn't a video game.
ん
Of course, yeah, that remark of mine was a slight allusion to both Chaos Head and Steins Gate. Aha. It's a fighting game thing, of course it is. So it's entirely true that I've done no prep when it comes to what I want to do after high school. I know how that feels. I blame it on the illusion that time has stopped on the island. It just makes you forget about the future entirely. You end up thinking that things will just go on like this forever. I'm sure a lot of people have had that same sentiment over the centuries. And I don't mean that in the sense that I hope these perfect days will never end or whatever. When time stops, so too does your ability to think. And yet, even when you realize that this is the case, it's still a pain in the ass to try and think about what comes next. That's called effort. In the end, I don't care what happens, as long as I can keep gaming. We all have that dream. Well, a lot of people have that dream. That's how I continue putting everything off. Which is not a good thing. And also, Akio is wearing, well, I assume it's a school statue or something. There is something attached to it, but I can't quite make out what it is. Akio stretches out, as though she's putting on a period, on the conversation. I would go and call it a full stop, really, but I'm just being pedantic.
でさ、これから整備のためにハンガー行こうと思ってるんだけどな。
Again, I don't know why the word hangar would be a tip, and why, since it is a tip, it isn't being color-coded in red text. Yeah, but anyway, we have another tip. A hangar is a storage facility used for maintenance, replenishing, or for standby for a vehicle. Usually, boats or planes. I think hangar is normally used for aerial vehicles than anything. The Robot Club has its own hangar. The dream that Akio and the Robot Club have been working on is stored there. So they're seriously building a robot.
頑張ってよ、部長さん。
カイも一緒に来てよ。
ふん。だったら分かってるでしょ。
I don't know what the deal is. And I hope nobody alters the deal.
ん？ またやるの？
当然。いつも言ってるよね。俺を従わせたいなら勝負に勝ってもらわないと。
We should probably let her know that we've just defeated the game creator of Kill-Ballad. Also, I knew it would be too much to hope that I don't have to do any more of those button presses. It's going to irritate me no end. Oh god. I quickly whip out my phone droid and take position.
キルバラ一本勝負やる。
No, I'm not game. But we have to do this, don't we? Ahiko replies enthusiastically and takes her phone droid out in resignation. We're seriously doing this again? Oh my
う
god.
ちが勝ったら本当に言うこと聞いてもらうからね。
As I said in the previous episode, Kaito, don't blame me if we fail.
勝てたらね。0-10ではないだろうけど。
Apparently she's 0 and 10, which is far from a good statistic as any, but I can't really say much given that I'm 1 and 0. Oh and 10 are her odds of winning. There's a 0% chance that Ahiko wins, and a 100% chance that I walk away the victor. Well, given the fact that I'm here, those odds are going to be slightly in her favor. I chuckle to myself and I boot up Kill-Ballad. Well, it's your funeral. Don't blame me if we lose. Doing it again. Doing it again. Oh my god. Well, at least it's versus instead of
少しは腕上がったか見せてもらうよ。
instead of a network battle. And she's going by her Twippo handle of Ahiko.
手加減なしだからね。これで負けたら400連敗。それだけは。
Okay, she hasn't lost 10 times. She's lost 399, which, yeah.
数字適当すぎだよ。多分それよりずっと俺が勝ってる。
Okay, maybe more than 400 then. I've only won once, so, oh my god. Fingers crossed.
そうきちゃう。ふん。
わあ、ミスった。
Well,
あきちゃん、落ち着いてやった方がいいよ。
I wish I could be calm, but, oh my god. Okay, okay. That wasn't too bad. Okay, we lucked out. We lucked out there. If I have to press every single key on the keyboard, however, that's
はい。
going to be
俺
a
の
problem.
勝ち。あきちゃん、相変わらず弱いね。
こんにゃろ
Well, we're 2 and 0, and she's doing the normal thing of smacking Kaito over the head with her clenched fists
あ、ちょっ。
in an stereotypical anime fashion. Akio suddenly starts ruffling my hair with both of her hands. She's always been like this. Whenever she gets frustrated, she messes up my hair. What did my hair do to her?
もっと容赦してくれないんだから。
いや、手加減なしって言ったのそっちでしょ。
You did say that, unfortunately, Ahiko. Plus, my fighting game philosophy is always to go full power, no matter who I'm facing. Bear in mind that that strategy doesn't always work against everyone. Power alone doesn't win battles. I watch with a wry smile as Akio stands up and storms off into the distance. We're at the airport. And as with the other entries in the Science Adventure series, we are now taking the role of another character. In this case, apparently we are now in the perspective of Ahiko herself, which is probably the earliest that we've had a character transition. There's only the, I think it's the 3rd episode? Yeah. Whenever I come here, I can feel my spirits being lifted. It makes me want to run around like a dog, to be honest. A heroic piece of music starts playing in my mind. If I'm not careful, I'll start humming it aloud. Let me guess, it's the opening theme of Gunvarrel. Just a guess. The Old Airport. I'm keeping my promise that I shall never utter that word there that's on the screen right now ever again. I know it's a bit childish of me, but I'm sticking to my guns. It's about a 10-minute walk from school. It was closed down 13 years ago and abandoned, so nobody visits it now. Except one person, Akio Shinomiya. It hasn't been maintained for years, so the asphalt is cracked and the weeds moved in like they own the joint. Darn weeds. While spacious, there's not much here. No electricity, and it's flat, which means the wind is super strong. And of course, since it's fallen into complete disuse, it's clearly obvious that nobody ever lands or takes off from this place anymore. Although with that said, where exactly do people, unless of course people get to and from the island by boat instead of air this time? Although you would think there'd be a more prestigious airport around somewhere. I end up having to hold my skirt down. Still, it's the perfect environment for the Robot Club's hangar. Robotics notes, it's too early for this kind of trope, it really is. Ordinary high school students would never be able to acquire such a wide, flat piece of land with nobody in sight. I don't think that this place officially belongs to the Robot Club, Ahiko. Also, I'm pretty sure if the island authorities were to find you loitering around here, they would probably escort you off the premises, or perhaps arrest you for trespassing. Not a fan of that, if I'm being honest. The airport apron in front of my eyes is about the size of the sports grounds, and an even longer runway continues past it. From end to end, it's about 1,600 meters long. There aren't any planes here, at least none that we've seen so far. Though if there were, they'd probably be in the same state as the airport itself. It takes around 30 minutes to walk the whole way. It also takes many times it's also many times wider than a standard road. The spacious sense of liberation is great, something you could never feel on a regular roadway. Of course, it's not actually meant to be a road, at least for cars. Right now, Kai's laying down and outstretched in the middle of the runway, phone droid in hand. And speaking of which... No, we can't use Ahiko's phone droid. It's only Kaito's phone droid that we can use, that we can interact with. Oh well.
またゲームして
Pretty much. After I lost to him quite soundly in our Kill-Ballad match, Kai decided to slack away like no man has ever slacked. Of course, that begs the question of what would have happened if we actually lost those two encounters. Aside from the shame of losing, would we have actually gotten the game over? I don't intend to test that theory, adventurers. But you know what? He still came with me instead of going home, so I can't be too mad. I suppose that's a sort of compromise. He's just shy is all. He really isn't. I put those thoughts aside and take a key out of my pocket. Wait, you have a key to this place? The Robot Club hangar at the edge of the airport apron. And there's also a table with a sun umbrella and fold-out chairs. It's been a long while since I've lain in one of those chairs. And by that I mean roughly over 20 years ago. It was originally a parking garage for vehicles used to refuel fire trucks and aircrafts, and yet somehow a high school student now has a key to the garage. You might ask, why are we using the airport's parking garage as a hangar? My question is, how the hell did they let you get the key? Patience, the reason is inside the building.
ハッチ開け
Open sesame. And what awaits on the other side of the door? I say to myself as I raise the shutters and step inside. And of course, it gets very dusty in the interior of this place. It's so dusty in here it's making me cough, which you just did. With no windows to be found, it's fairly dark. Enshrined in the center of that dark space is the materialization of the Robot Club's sweat and tears. A tarp covering something that may or may not be a giant robot. You're serious about this, aren't you, Akio Shinomiya? The life-size Gunvarrel prototype Model 1. Nickname Gunbuild 1. The fact that you're actually even attempting this is actually noteworthy in and of itself. And if it actually works, you'll get quite the reputation. When the Robot Club was first founded 8 years ago, this was its greatest goal, its dream. A dream that Akio is insistent on pursuing. A project to build the giant robot of justice, Gunvarrel, at life size. Also known as the Gunbuild Project, which you already said that. This is Gunbuild 1. It's still incomplete, so the upper and lower parts are kept apart, but it'll stand over 10 meters tall when it's done. On a similar yet unrelated tangent, does anyone ever remember the cartoon, The Big Guy and Rusty? I loved that cartoon when I was a kid. It was great. I mean, yeah, it wasn't a Gundam and it wasn't anime, but it was still a pretty cool robot show. The final goal is to have a pilot ride inside and move it. The club has been chipping away at this for 8 years. Well, the fact that you actually managed to get this far in 8 years is actually a testament in and of itself. Though, to be perfectly honest, it hasn't even moved even once yet. One of the reasons it's taken so long is because high school clubs don't get much in the way of funding. Because nobody expects a group of high schoolers to actually work on building a giant robot. I have a lot of respect for the founder for having the foresight to build a huge robot before the robot boom started. I say that, but the founding member and creator of the Gunbuild 1 blueprints is none other than my older sister. She's got serious negotiating skills. And of course she has the reputation of being the founder of the Robot Club. When she founded the Robot Club, she also managed to acquire special permission to use this old airport. Well, that explains my question. She even negotiated with the small workshops around the island so she could get their scraps for free. Unfortunately, I've forgotten the first name of Akio's older sister. Heck, she convinced JAXA to give the club parts she didn't need anymore. It's thanks to her that the Robot Club is still using this old airport hangar and working on Gunbuild 1 to this day. All around the world, huge companies are funding giant robot development. They obviously have deeper pockets than us, as well as broader connections and resources. Compared to their robots, Gunbuild 1 is a shabby, derpy, and poorly performing relic. Also, on that thought is another question. What happened to Akio's older sister? Where did she go? And where is she now? But I refuse to stop working on it. I want to complete it. This is the dream I inherited from the original members of the Robot Club. My sister's dream. Who were the original members? Speaking of my older sister, she currently works at a company in Tokyo. She doesn't live on the island anymore. The current and perhaps last president of the Robot Club is none other than me, her little sister. There's got to be some sort of meaning to all this. I wonder about that. Maybe it's fate. It must be. Perhaps. Maybe it could even be the choice of Steins Gate.
秋は何をやっても平凡止まりなのよ。
Then again, it looks as though Akio's older sister wasn't actually holding out much hope for her. Without thinking, I grabbed my chest. It's tight. I feel like throwing up. I shake my head and slap my cheeks with my hands.
弾幕薄いよ。何やってんの。
I clench both my fists and psych myself up. I pull a can of oil from the shelf in the corner and pour it into a portable oiler. Gotta keep this thing, well, from getting stuck, I guess, even though it's never moved. Even though Gun Build 1 has never actually moved on its own, I still can't slack on maintenance. Not if you intend to finish it. In fact, without exception, I bet past club members would all say that our main activity is maintenance, not building. You can't build something without parts. True enough. And we rarely get any of those. That's why there's been such little progress in the end, so in light of that, we kill time doing maintenance. Since Kai and I are the only remaining members of the Robot Club, it falls on me to do all the maintenance myself. Seems that Akio's older sister has moved on from her original dream at Central High. Once a month I spend an hour chipping away at the task alone. Kai, on the other hand, games on his phone droid. While working, I'm free from unnecessary thoughts. I just want to finish this machine as soon as possible. Even that impatience has blown away, so I honestly don't mind this kind of work. An admirable thought.
じゃあやりますか。
With oiler in hand, I crawl onto a shin of the lower portion of Gunbuild 1. It's about 1.2 meters high. From that height, I can see Kai lying down on the runway. It's a good thing there are no planes in usage here, otherwise laying down on the runway there would actually be a very dangerous thing.
手伝え。これは警告ではない。抵抗すれば撃つ。
And of course, more Gunvarrel references. So in addition to being actually, let me rephrase that. It seems that Akio is both tsundere and a chunibiru. And an otaku. I hold the oiler like a gun and aim it at Kai.
必殺頑張るアンクストライカーズドドギャー。
Something tells me that something is going to go terribly wrong here with that oil. I thrust out my fist. Of course, the runway is several hundred meters away, so there's no way Kai is going to react. Which is a good thing, because splashing that oil on him is bound to make him mad. Also, wasting oil is never a good thing.
虚しい。
Indeed. I undo my pose. I crawl onto the knee of Gunbuild 1 and pour oil through the joint onto the cam of the servo motor.
この場所は時間から取り残されてるんじゃないかって安入意な気分に浸ったりしてね。
Kaito's words from earlier. I recall what Kai said earlier.
取り残されてるか。
I never thought I'd hear words like that from Kai, the guy who usually just games without a worry in the world. But he has worries of his own. But quite frankly, I don't really get difficult stuff like that. And it's not like I have time to stop and think. This oversized child of mine. Gunvarrel, not Kaito. I need to complete Gunbuild 1, no matter what. If I don't finish him by graduation, there'll be no Robot Club members left to inherit the task of finishing him. That's why I need to complete Gunbuild 1 with my own two hands, using the 6 months I have left. That is a very, very tall order indeed, Akio Shinomiya.
これが若さか。
Indeed it is. I mutter the words of a certain someone in red whom I admire, and continue pouring oil. Yeah, you're a fan of the Red Comet. Clearly. Now loading. And for some reason, the airport... For some reason, we're getting flooded with tips. We are getting flooded with tips. So you know what? Here we go. More tips. Gunvarrel Ankh Striker. A special move used by the robot Gunvarrel in Mobile Battler Gunvarrel. Ankh is a unique shape used in ancient Egypt. Basically, a rocket punch with an Ankh-shaped fire around it. Mainly used as a finishing move in Season 1. Servo motor. A motor used mainly for machine tools, industrial robots, models, and remotely controlled machines. By giving orders to the servo drive, which acts as a control device, you can check for error. You can check the operating condition, and adjust for errors. Servo in Latin means slave. Gun build project, or let's build a life-size gun barrel project. Known as Gun Build Project for short, this is the main goal and reason of existence for the Central High Robot Club. Misaki Shinomiya started planning it when she was a sophomore. That was her name, Misaki. However, Misaki is on a very different life career path over in Tokyo now. She has turned her back on that which she started, and so hence Akio herself is taking up the slack in her stead, but with far less resources and influence. And finally, the old airport. Opened in 1958 as an airport with a runway 1,500 meters long. In March of 2006, the new airport, Cosmoport, opened. Now the old airport is a ruin. So they did build a replacement one. Yeah, I was a little bit worried there for a second. But of course, it is now sunset. That is where this episode of Let's Play Robotics Notes Elisa is going to end. So when we return, adventurers, we shall see what Kaito thinks about all this in the coming moments. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.